Yeah, it's definitely a catch-22 because the heat's tough and it's not necessarily healthy. But I think it just felt like we were ready, which is always that hard piece of, you're kind of moving ahead. We felt good after our scrimmage against Bo, and then coming in, felt like our game plan was set for Kennett, and then it's a change. And I think there was like an initial sort of like puts us off, but I think they were able to regroup and we just changed our game plan.
I was pretty bummed because I was really excited to play in our first game, but at the same time, I was kind of like glad because it would have been in the same time where the sun would have been at its hottest, and it was just way too hot for that. So they definitely made the right decision in rescheduling the game because we would not have been playing at our best. So I think it was the best decision for all of us, even though we were a little bummed, but we can make it up. So it's
I was kind of frustrated. I mean, I think we were like ready from the previous practices because we were prepping for the game. So I think we were ready, and now for it getting pushed, it's a little frustrating, but I think it was a good call because of the heat, and I feel like it probably wouldn't have gone as well.
It was frustrating, definitely not to be able to play in our first game, but at the same time, it was kind of like relieving because I don't really want to play in 100-degree weather. That's not something that I enjoy, especially if I'm going to be playing most of the game. It definitely gets really hot and it tires you out, and I think the team would have kind of deteriorated after a little bit, so I think not having that game and having the extra practice time just for Sanborn tomorrow was a good call.
Yesterday it wasn't too bad, like around halfway through practice that was when it started getting hot, but this morning it was hot right off the bat and I was like, oh no, like you can definitely feel it, and you can see it in our play that we are hot and tired.
I mean, I think that it's taking care of themselves and it's advocating for themselves. They have to be eating well and drinking lots of water, and that idea that it's not just drinking water while we're practicing, but there's that continuation throughout the day that's going to keep them hydrated going into the next day and the following. So there's lots of conversations about what they can do to take care of their bodies, and then you're just watching because it's really warm and we have to have them advocate. If they're not feeling well, I need them to express that to us, and we need to take care of it. And I think it's just a lot of let's try to play for 15 minutes and then we'll take a break, grab water, and get a little rest. And at the same point, then you also want to feel like you're continuing that conditioning that we've been working on. So it's always, but it's just, yesterday was bad, but I thought today was just a tough day that I don't want to hurt the girls.
It's way too hot, and then I wear all black, which doesn't make it any better, but I just try and push through and try my hardest, but it's really hard sometimes. Just got to drink a lot of water, and there's no shade on the field, so it's awful, but it's alright. I love it. It's not much. I mean, I bring 2 water bottles that are filled with ice, and water, of course, but sometimes I just like pour it on me or on my head, and it cools me down for maybe like 5 seconds, and then I'm hot again. But just gotta keep like a positive mindset and just say, you know what, we only have this much time left. We're gonna push through, and we'll be fine after. I'll go jump in my pool. It's fine.
Well, you don't really stay cool. I don't stay cool. I tend to overheat very easily, but definitely staying in the shade a lot. Definitely you need to hydrate so much before the game before. And I think kind of like, I don't know, just taking breaks whenever you need them, like especially during practice because you don't want to wear yourself out for the game.
So we will do our normal drills. We're still keeping up the intensity, obviously, because we're still prepping for the games. But we take more water breaks, so we're staying hydrated. And during our breaks, we'll find the little bits of shade that we can.
well. They have done an excellent job this season of, you know, what we did in Salem, fixing what we did in Salem, going to Londonderry, looking at what was not working against Londonderry, and actively making changes to that. And the difference in their game from Londonderry to Bow, two different opponents, but just the actual, like, how we were executing game plans that we had been talking about and working on. They're a smart group. They're a very easy group to coach, and what I like seeing is they're just adapting, and I think that's huge, especially with a season that kind of off the go. We have a lot of games in the first 2 weeks. Close to half our season is happening, so they're going to have to be adapting. We're going to play a game, have a practice, and it's going to be a new opponent that we have to focus on. So I like that, and that mental piece just, I think, was the catalyst for feeling like it's time. Let's start.
I feel like we've definitely progressed throughout the preseason. Our third scrimmage was looking like the best one yet, so I'm hoping that it'll be like
I
that.
think we have definitely progressed so much, especially since the first game that we played. I think just kind of getting in the rhythm, getting in the groove again from the summer league, not having all the players, not, like practicing every day. I think getting the team together and getting that chemistry and that connection back is really essential to having a good season.
I think waiting this long just makes us even more hungrier to initially win, and it'll give us the energy and skill. We have like time to perfect what we struggled with in our scrimmages, and I think working on circle play and all of that in scrimmaging will definitely help us. Like the more time we have, it will definitely help us. Since we are playing Sanborn, and we have played them in the past, and we have struggled, but I'm excited because we have had so much time to practice and build up to it.
Matt and Sarah, here are the goalie jerseys. Got it just for you. What else? All right.
I was itching to help.
These are nice. What are these? I should have Alexis 5, Emma is 17, Molly is 19, Mac is 21, Julia's 11, Bree is 3, Alex is 15, Chloe is 12, Emily is 2. Does that sound right to everybody?
Yes.
All right, juniors, Shan is 1, Liv is 14, Paige is 22, Katie is 7, Sarah had no number, all right, because you didn't get a penny, right? Sarah is buying her parking pass. Maggie was 18, Jess was 9, Grace is 6. So like I can give you the free penny, you give the 21 penny, and then you give me the 14 one. But for right now,
Wait, where's 11?
okay, so why don't we do that, and then we'll get our switch going.
Here's 11. And grab their long sleeves too.
They can start grabbing everything, and then once you have a complete uniform, you're gonna come over to me, and we're gonna do all of our info.
Because there's two different first.
I just want to get the season started. I think if I go back, I'm just so used to at this point that we play the first game on the road that it doesn't even seem, it's just entertaining. What do we have to do for that game? Like what do we have to do to be on the road against Sanborn? What is that? What's that look like? So it would have been nice to be home against Kennett for that first game, but it changed and we have to adapt, and now it's a new plan, and I think the girls are honestly just excited to be playing.
I've been waiting for the season since the day I stepped on the field, freshman day, or first freshman day, and it's really exciting, but at the same time it's my last first game, and it's the last season that I'm gonna have here, and it's sad, but it's also like, let's get it
I'm
going.
really excited, but at the same time, I'm extremely nervous because I know Kennett was supposed to be our first game, but now it's Sanborn, and I'm really nervous because we had played them twice last year, and we won one and then lost one, and then we lost in overtime, and it was like this big thing. So I'm really nervous, but I'm excited to
So
play.
I think that we need to play our best game, and we need to keep our communication up, because that can be kind of intimidating to the other team. If we have to stay strong in the beginning, and we have to push through.
We are expecting a scrappy team who's going to fight till the end, who is never going to give up, and we have been training for this. That's what we've been doing all summer. We've been working on endurance, so we want to outlast them, we want to outrun them. We want to play at the same agility and the same like speed that they are, so we can finally get the upper hand.
I haven't seen them this season. I feel in years past they're scrappy and they'll play for 60 minutes. So there isn't a quit piece with them. So I think for us, I don't want us to necessarily match their scrappy. I'd like to be clinical, I'd like to be intense, and I'd like to feel like we are able to control the tempo of the game versus just that sort of ping pong that can happen with two scrappy or aggressive teams.
Nice